What's up, YouTube? Back again. I haven't updated in just about a week, really. I was supposed to come back the next day and talk about my CDL driving exam. I'll get into that. But first, let me talk about what happened with Werner and why am I still working this little job. I referred to it as a little job last time. The little job is McDonald's. I was a little embarrassed at first, but I had to think about it. How can I be embarrassed when I was furloughed from the railroad? I wasn't fired. I have to do what I got to do to feed my family. It doesn't pay as much as you guys think it does. It pays decent, but not as low as a lot of people think it might pay because of my experience and everything else. But anyway, as you can see, still got on my uniform. I didn't go to Werner this past Monday. Today is now, what is it, Wednesday, Thursday? It's Wednesday right now. When Saturday rolled around, I was contacted. No, it wasn't Saturday, it was Friday. Friday I was contacted by the recruiter from Werner, and they verified the bus ticket and everything else and asked me was I ready to go, yada yada yada. I'm like, cool, whatever. They end up telling me that I will be going the following Wednesday for orientation because they're waiting for a couple background checks to come back or whatever. I'm thinking at this point, like, Werner owns Roadmaster. Y'all should know everything you need to know about me, right? I was wrong. Weekend passes by, Monday comes, I get a call early in the morning. It was really early in the morning. That same recruiter was like, well, I'm just verifying your ticket, and you're gonna be here at this time, this hotel. When you get there, do this, that, and the third. Make sure you have all your information. I'm like, cool. About less than an hour after that, same recruiter calls again, and brings up something that happened 12 years ago. Yeah, it was a crime, but it was a petty crime that has nothing to do with driving, nothing to do with trucking, nothing to do with transportation. It wasn't violent. Nobody got hurt, no victims. It was something I did, young and dumb, stupid, 18-year-old kid, fresh out of high school. You know, trying to be cool, whatever. It was petty. But it was enough for them to cancel my orientation. Basically, she told me that I would not be invited to come out to orientation, and they wouldn't go no further with the hiring process. So, naturally, I was pissed. I got up immediately. As soon as I heard that information, after I explained the court case and everything, I immediately got up and was like, what the heck? This is really old. It has nothing to do with nothing. Like, most companies don't even care what happens past 7 years. Not only that, it's not a violent crime, it's not a rape crime, nobody got beat up, nobody got shot, nobody got strong arm robbed, nobody had a gun shoved in their face. It wasn't even nothing like that. It was me being young and stupid, using gift cards to buy myself stuff that I shouldn't have bought. Basically, shoes and clothes and jewelry and cologne, perfume, all kinds of crap. The girl I was with at the time, I was dating at the time, I bought her a couple things. Anyway, I was mad, got very upset, discouraged, sad, disappointed. I had a lot of questions as to why. You guys been telling me all this time I've been going through school that I'd be working with Werner. Werner owns Roadmaster. I was proud of it. I was like, you know, hey, this is a decent company, has a good history. I've done my research on them. They've been around over 60 plus years. The drivers that drive for them, there's not a lot of complaints. If there are complaints, it's usually an experienced trucker that's been with several other companies, and you know, they know a thing or two about, you know, policies and, you know, the extras that you get with other companies, because all companies are different, you know. They have the, pretty much the same baseline when it comes to, taking care of employees, but some companies add little extras or they take away extras. So I was very proud about going to Werner, and it didn't happen. But very discouraged. That whole day, from 8 o'clock in the morning, from when she called me the second time that morning, till about 5 o'clock in the evening, I was calling people. I was applying for trucking jobs all over the place. I was looking at reviews of companies and trying to figure out which one would be the best fit for me. And I blew up Roadmaster's telephone number that they give you when you graduate in regards to finding employment, because I felt, in my opinion, I made Roadmaster look good. There's a lot of students that go in there for the Kansas City location. I'm not speaking on Militant or any other location that I know of, but the Kansas City location, a lot of the students fail the driving maneuvers, the skills, the PTI. They fail in so many silly areas. There was even a guy that forgot to put his brakes on when he hopped out to check the position of his trailer. And the truck rolled like less than a foot and he failed instantly. Like stuff like that. I went in and one and done all of my tests, all of my evaluations with Roadmaster while in school. Finished out with an average of 90%. Okay, that was my average grade. One and done everything. Okay, and they gave me the parallel park for my skills at the state exam. So I did everything that was asked of me. So I felt a little betrayed. You guys have been pushing Werner in my face since day one. I didn't get with Werner. Now I'm upset. What do I do? Y'all need to find me a job or help me find a job, because now I feel like I'm pimped out. I owe y'all money for that schooling. That money has to be paid. They want like $180 a month, I think it is. Yeah, $180 a month to be paid towards the schooling. Now they give you a little bit of time after you graduate to pay that. They give you a little, courtesy time before they start taking payments from you or requesting payments, calling your phone, emailing you, whatever, calling your, co-signers or whoever else is on the contract for your financial aid. But I'm livid. I'm like, hey, we need to do something because I got to start paying on this now. And if you guys line me up with a company, I can get tuition reimbursement. So after all that, fussing and everything, no one replied. I even went up to the school. I talked to a recruiter at the school. She felt bad for me. She didn't understand why Werner didn't take me for such an old thing. I left several messages on the recruiting hotline or whatever the number is. I don't have it on me right now. It's a little card they give you. Finally, the next day, same thing. I wake up, I'm at it again. It's Tuesday morning, I'm at it again. I gotta look for a job, Because mind you, I'm still working at McDonald's overnight. 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. You know how humbling that is? To go from making railroad money to going to school and working McDonald's at the same time, getting 2 hours of sleep every 24 hours. Tiresome, busting your tail to get to the point where you get your CDL. I have my CDL. It's not showing up in, nationally yet. It's not in the database yet, but I have a paper copy of my Class A air brake combination vehicle CDL right behind me. But it's frustrating. You look for a job, you're applying to different places, they want experience. I even talked to Schneider, and Schneider, same thing. They were concerned about an accident that happened a few years ago, and I wasn't even at fault. And the accident is old. It was an accident that involved 60 miles per hour. They're going down the highway. Guy slams on his brakes in front of me. I mean, what is my car gonna do? My car got totaled. His truck was fine. But they wanted the accident report on that. I'm like, I don't even have that. And I have to go pay for that. I have to go to the police department and go get it. So I have to spend the gas money and spend my money to buy it. I feel like doing that, okay? You ran my MVR. You see it on there. You see that there was no victims. You see that no cars were towed away. You see that, there was no restitution paid on the situation or anything. In my opinion, I think companies should look past that. Unless it was completely negligent in the accident. Especially if I'm explaining in detail what happened. I explained in detail what happened. So Schneider didn't care about the 12-year-old criminal report. They, like Werner was. Werner was like, oh, we go back a lifetime. We check everything for a lifetime. If anything's in your lifetime, then we disqualify you. I even asked the lady at Werner, I said, so if I ran over a dog when I was a teenager and I caught a misdemeanor for, reckless endangerment, whatever, I just caught a misdemeanor off of running over a dog, whatever the case might have been, when I was a teenager, you would have found that and I would have been disqualified? She's like, well, we disqualify for many reasons, and that yours is a unique case, and the board has already reviewed it, and they didn't take it. And she mentioned the board because in the phone conversation, early in the phone conversation, she was like, I got to submit this to the board, and the board has to get back to me. And I asked towards the end of the conversation, I'm like, hey, has the board gotten back with you yet? And she said, oh yeah, they already did. You're disqualified. I'm like, so within 5 minutes, the board has delegated over my situation and said I'm not qualified, even though I have my CDL, I went through your school, and I owe you guys money. There's no way to justify me being hired by you guys. I'm not a criminal. Like, right, I'm a furloughed railroader. I'm not a criminal. I don't do no drugs. I'm a square. I go to work and home. I take care of my kids, pay attention to my wife and my family. I don't even have any friends. I don't entertain nobody. I have associates. I have people that I'm friendly with and I know, but I don't hang out with them. Okay? I have a couple cousins I talk to on the phone every now and again. Like, I don't really be out here in the world. Like, I don't do nothing. The young me was, stupid. I shouldn't have never did what I did. And I ain't gonna tell what I did because it doesn't even matter. But anyway, same thing with Schneider. They didn't care about what Werner cared about. They cared about a freaking accident. It wasn't even my fault. So, we'll get back to you. Rail, same things. ROEL, or it's an H in there probably, I don't know, but another company called me, same thing. Swift would have took me, but I didn't want to go to Swift. So then I blew up Roadmaster's number again. This is about 10 a.m. Tuesday morning. So from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I'm talking to Schneider and different companies. I'm applying to different places. They're all telling me the same crap, except for Swift. Finally, about 10 a.m., I get on the phone with the guy from Roadmaster. Or 10:30. It was closer to 11, actually. I get on the phone with a representative from Roadmaster. He's a recruiter or whatever. And he's confused, too. He says, well, it says in our system here that they're waiting on your CDL. I said, they're not waiting on my CDL. They know I have my CDL, and they disqualified me for this reason. He was like, really? He's like, how old is it? I said, 12 years old. He was like, usually companies don't care. It's over 10 years old. Why didn't they take you? I said, well, they didn't. He's like, well, that's strange. Anything on your driving record that, put you off? No, they didn't say anything about my driving record. They cared about what happened 12 years ago. Mind you, again, it wasn't violent. Nobody got hurt. It wasn't even a serious crime. It wasn't even something serious to even look at. But since it happened in Johnson County, I guess it mattered to Werner. I don't know. That's just my guess. Because Johnson County is the real reason why it's even on my record anyway. Because had it happened in Jackson County, it would never be there. It'd be something else. It probably would have been thrown out. But anyway, so the guy's confused. The recruiter's sitting there like, what the heck? And he's like, you know what? I tell you what. Because I was being a little bit of a butthole. I ain't going to ask. I was being a little like, hey, I've wasted a lot of time calling you guys all day yesterday. Calling all this morning. I need answers. You guys said you would set me up with employment. What's the word? I need to know something. I did my part. I have my CDL. I'm not a criminal. I have a decent MVR. I should have employment. I should be in orientation somewhere. Not sitting at home, going to work at McDonald's, trying to make a decent little bit of living off a little bit of money I make at McDonald's to pay bills that are stacking up, by the way. Sitting in a brand new car that I have to pay for. I need answers. So Finally, the guy's like, okay, I tell you what, I'm not trying to rush you off the phone, but I got to go to this meeting. I'm like, you're rushing me off the phone. That's what I told him. Like I said, I was being a bit of a ball. I said, you're rushing me off the phone because you're not really listening to me. I need to talk now. He's like, no, I have to go to this meeting. I promise I will call you around 12:05. I'll call you in the afternoon for sure. I promise you that. I said, okay, fine. Hang up. Again, I get back at it from like 11 to noon. I'm on Craigslist. I'm applying to different places. I'm doing my research. You know, I'm looking at state laws and everything. I'm trying to figure out why I got disqualified from Werner. It still doesn't make no sense to me as I'm sitting here making this video right now. It's silly. It's silly. I'm pretty sure you have ex-cons that came out of prison working for Werner right now, but they wouldn't take me. Anyway, 12:05 comes, and he calls me, and he's like, you know, he goes over it again about Werner, and he's like, why did they didn't take you? And I told him again. He's still confused himself. Even the recruiter at the school that I went to was like, what? Huh? But anyway, he's like, so you talked to him this time? Or you sure I don't need to call? I said, well, they've already told me that they won't take me. Okay, well, I tell you what, U.S. Xpress will take you. From what you're telling me, U.S. Xpress will take you. I said, okay. He said, you know, this is how U.S. Xpress works. It's the company. This is how you get hired, yada, yada, yada. I need for you to fill out this application. I'm going to send it to you via text. Let me know when you get it. I got it. I told him. I filled it out. Told him again. He gave me the thumbs up in the message. He told me that he would be in contact with me if he couldn't get a hold of nobody, or Adam Rowe from U.S. Xpress, a recruiter, will be in contact with me. I had to put his name down on my application. But anyway, I think about an hour and a half went by, and I'm sitting there tapping my foot. I'm scratching my head. I'm like, hey, man, I ain't got no call yet. But I get a call from U.S. Xpress, a recruiter. I don't think it was Adam, but it was one of them. And he asked me the same questions Werner did. He asked me about what happened with that, you know, case that Werner said I was disqualified over. And immediately he laughed and was like, we're not worried about that. That was over 10 years ago. How old are you? Okay, well, we don't care about that. That looks good. On to the next. Let's look at your MVR. Because they run your information while you're on the phone with them. And you get messages stating, if you have Driver Pulse app, you'll get messages showing that they're running your information. And you'll get copies of that information too if you have a Driver Pulse app. Anyway, as he's doing that, I'm looking at my app. I'm looking at what he found or whatever. He's telling me everything I'm reading. He asked me about one ticket that I had. And he looked at it and was like, well, it's a few years old. You know, it was knocked down to non-moving. You have your license. You have your CDL. Can you pass a DOT? Can you pass a physical, hair follicle, urinalysis? I said, yeah. He was like, well, I don't see no reason why we can't continue with orientation. I'm like, wow, okay, that was easy. Werner was a little bit more complicated. They wanted everything but a blood sample. But anyway, he goes through the whole spiel about what happens with orientation and what's expected. So I'm going to do a quick update on that now. Basically, I'm scheduled for orientation. I have a ticket number for Greyhound to go to Chicago, Illinois, or Markham, whatever it is. It's close to Chicago. To go up to that terminal and do orientation. Now, this is contingent upon me completing all my paperwork that they sent me, the onboarding, basically information that they need, them being able to verify my employment, the DOT test, urinalysis, hair follicle, them having a copy of my CDL, my Social Security card, which I only have a paper copy now, which that might hang me up because they want to see in the system that I have my CDL. I even called my capital today, Jeff City, and double check with them. They could see both of them in there, my permit and my Class A CDL, but the permit is the only thing that's been released. the Class A CDL, for whatever reason, Missouri takes extra long for that to happen. It's not just me. It's every student that's coming out of school out of Missouri. So the lady told me, you know, just be patient. It should be going through soon. All of them are being hand examined. They're not just, you know, pushed through just because you passed the test at the examiner's office. So I said, okay, whatever. It should be pushed through anyway because I have a valid Class E chauffeur's license out of Missouri, so I should be straight. But anyway, the recruiter, I called him back, told him the information. He already told me before the same thing, but he told me again, hey, I'm going to check again on Friday. I'm going to run it again on Friday. I'm hoping Friday that when I run your MVR that your Class A shows up then. He's like, if not, I'll already put in an email and a request to go ahead and still bring you to orientation because you do have a paper copy of your Class A. And they want you to have that Class A in the system that we can look at nationwide before anything. But I'm hoping we can just go ahead and just bring you to orientation. You did everything you're supposed to do, so hopefully I can just bring you out. Cool, whatever. So right now, as of now, I'm scheduled to go to Chicago, Illinois. I've done my research on US Xpress. I've seen a lot of negative comments. I've seen a lot of positive comments. My Trucker's Keeper, appreciate that channel. He's giving me a lot of good information from a young black male's, you know, perspective of a decent company. I like him. We think a lot alike. I'm gonna go ahead and go with US Xpress. I'm not gonna let nothing discourage me from going there. So that's where we at. Passed my driving test. Werner didn't take me. US Xpress is taking me. I'll be back with another update. If you like this video, I don't have a lot of subscribers. I think I got like 5 and I got a couple views on my first video. But hey, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm going to try to give you as much information as I can as I go through this whole process, coming from student to driver, and then driver to experienced driver. I'm gonna keep going with my channel right now. I'm keeping it at my name. I'm keeping it at Ron Block because you got all these trucking channels. I'm gonna keep it where it is. I'm not gonna stop talking about trucking because I'm not gonna let nothing stop me from trucking. If I can get my FRA license to move a locomotive and be a conductor, I'm pretty sure I can truck. So with that being said, thank you for watching. If you have any comments or questions, comment below. Like the video, subscribe, notification bell. See you later. Out.